The reward that never ends. Everyone thinks addiction starts with pleasure, but with dopamine, it starts with anticipation. Not the moment you get the notification, but the moment you hear it. That little sound, the ting, like an invisible entity is calling your name. You don't remember when you first got addicted. Maybe it was when you reached for the screen in the middle of the night. Maybe it was when you promised yourself just one more minute. Maybe it was when you felt empty inside when there was nothing new to watch. Dopamine doesn't want you to be happy. It just wants you to keep going. You watch one more video, one more swipe, one more notification open, not because you want to, but because your brain is afraid of feeling deprived. And as you continue to be here, as you continue to watch, as you continue to wait, what you become most addicted to isn't the content. It's the moment of anticipation for what's next. That's why you're here. That's why this video exists. That's why you can't leave yet.
Number 10. The first hit of anticipation. The man in the lab didn't touch the phone. He only heard a slight vibration, a very small vibration, like a nerve being pulled. Scientists monitored his brain in real time. They didn't need to see what he opened. They just needed to see the moment he thought about opening it. The dopamine spike didn't happen when he read the message. It didn't happen when he looked at the screen. It didn't happen when the content appeared. The dopamine peak happens earlier, right when he imagines there's something important in that message, right when his brain completes the rest of the story. The brutal truth is, the feed isn't designed to please you. It's designed to keep you waiting. And as you wait, the dopamine comes flooding in, stronger than mild opioids, more subtle than cocaine, and more dangerous because you don't know it's happening. You're not addicted to content. You're addicted to hoping that the next piece of content will save you.
Number 9. The loop that reprograms you. The 14-year-old said she wasn't addicted to social media. She checked just a little before bed, then a little more, then another 5 minutes, then another short video, then a notification, then, oh no, it's too late. But the researchers measured something else. It wasn't the amount of time she spent online that was harmful. It was how often her brain was reset by dopamine. Every time I swipe down to refresh the feed, dopamine shoots up like a little explosion. Every time new content appears, the brain registers unpredictable reward. It is the most powerful addictive mechanism ever documented in the history of human behavior. Not heroin, not alcohol, not nicotine. But it is surprise reward plus infinite repeat. You think you're in control, but really, you're being taught to want more because you never know when you're going to get it. One swipe, just one, is enough for the brain to register the feeling. And so, the cycle begins. Every time you refresh your feed, you're teaching your brain to expect a reward you don't remember asking for.
Number 8. The machine that watches you back. No one tells you that the algorithm doesn't just watch what you watch. It watches when you pause, when you hesitate, when your heart slows down, and when your eyes widen a little. One researcher described it this way: the algorithm doesn't need to know who you are. It just needs to know what makes you stay. You scroll, the algorithm observes. You pause, the algorithm remembers. You move away, the algorithm hurts. Not really painful, but painful in the sense that It lost you, and its job is not to lose you. So it throws out something else, something that keeps you coming back, something that triggers dopamine in ways you don't notice. The scariest thing? The algorithm doesn't know right or wrong. It only knows stay and go. If content makes you angry, it keeps you longer, it makes you angry. If fear keeps you longer, it makes you afraid. If sadness keeps you glued to the screen, it makes you sad. The algorithm doesn't understand you, it only understands what keeps you from leaving it.
Number 7. The false choice you think you made. You think you choose the content, but most of the time, you're just choosing between what the algorithm allows to appear in front of you. An MIT study found when people were asked why they watched a video, they always gave a reasonable answer. But when they checked the data, 78% of the views came from suggestions they didn't recognize as suggestions. Your brain doesn't like feeling controlled, so it tells you a more palatable story. I'm watching this because I'm interested. I'm clicking because I'm curious. I'm scrolling because I have free time. The truth is more subtle. You're responding to a series of stimuli optimized to hit your dopamine. You think you're the driver, but the steering wheel is designed so that no matter which way you turn, you're still on the path the platform wants you to take. There is no real choice, only the illusion of choice. You don't choose the content, you choose the response that dopamine is programmed to bring.
Number 6. The social threat detector. Modern humans' dopamine doesn't just respond to pleasure. It responds to social evaluation. A someone liked your post notification is the equivalent of a gentle tap on the shoulder from the community. But a someone commented notification is a stronger tap. And a someone mentioned you notification is, to the brain, the equivalent of a direct call from the tribe. Your body doesn't understand this as a phone. It thinks this is survival. When you are ignored, dopamine drops. When you are noticed, dopamine pops. And what does the brain remember? That you need attention to feel okay. Not because you're weak, but because the human nervous system is designed to live in community, not in technology. And social media knows it. It gives you just the right amount of attention to keep you coming back for more. You don't expect likes, your brain expects approval.
Number 5. The empty scroll reflex. Have you ever opened your phone without knowing what you were looking for? You just opened it and then swiped. It was like your body did it without asking you. This phenomenon is called mindless scrolling. In a Stanford University experiment, 64% of people opened social media apps without any specific purpose. This happens when dopamine drops too low. The brain triggers seeking behavior to self-correct. You're not looking for content. You're looking for a dopamine hit. A short video, a meme, a line of text, anything to fill the void. The scariest thing is when you scroll mindlessly, you're not really looking for a reward. You're just trying to avoid the feeling of having nothing to see. Social media doesn't have to make you happy. It just has to make you feel uncomfortable. You're not looking for something new. You're running from a feeling of emptiness.
Number 4. The addiction without pain. Most addictions have clear costs. Drugs damage the body. Alcohol damages the liver. Tobacco damages the lungs. But social media dopamine doesn't hurt you, doesn't make you throw up, doesn't instantly put you to sleep. It gives you a feeling of well-being, a little excitement, a little relief. There's just one problem. Those little bits add up over time to create a dopamine baseline that's never high enough to make you happy and never low enough to make you stop. You're stuck in the middle. Not happy, not sad, just moving on. One neurologist calls this the gray zone of addiction, where you never realize you're dependent because you never see the obvious consequences. But every time you scroll, your dopamine levels drop a little bit, and you need more dopamine to get back to feeling normal. The most dangerous addiction is not the one that kills you. It's the one that makes you forget you're alive. Number 3. The brain that forgot how to rest. When dopamine fluctuates too rapidly, your nervous system loses its ability to return to rest mode. It's like a machine that never quite shuts off. A study from Harvard found that heavy social media users have brain activity in the reward anticipation region, even when not using their phones. Meaning, you're always waiting for a notification, waiting for new content, waiting for a little thrill. And when you have nothing to see, you feel uneasy, but don't know why. These are symptoms of a mild chronic overload of the dopamine system. No obvious pain, no obvious stress, but it makes you unable to concentrate, unable to rest, unable to feel normal without your phone. You can't remember the last time you sat still for 2 minutes without touching a screen. And that's the problem. You're not tired because you work too much. You're tired because your brain can no longer hear silence.
Number 2, the illusion of connection. Social media makes you feel connected, like someone is watching you, like someone is approving, responding, paying attention. But the dopamine from that attention is like empty calories. It fills you up for a minute, then you're hungry again. When a friend ignores your message, dopamine drops. When you don't get any notifications, dopamine flattens like a heartbeat. When you post and no one responds, your brain registers it as a social punishment. And so you post more, see more, check more. You try to feel connected, but in reality, you are only connected to the constant dopamine surge, not to the real person. You can talk to hundreds of people and still feel lonely. It's not because you lack friends, it's because you lack real moments of connection, something that the dopamine rush from social media can't replace. Social media makes you feel seen, but never understood.
Number 1, the reward you never wanted. Scientists once tried to create a non-addictive version of social media. No like buttons, no view counts, no endless suggestions, no constant notifications. No one uses it, not because it's bad, but because the brain is used to abnormally high levels of dopamine from old patterns. You're not addicted to fun. You're addicted to overstimulation. And the real world, talking, reading, walking, looking at the sky, feels too slow to compete. You are programmed to see reality as duller than it actually is. It's not your fault. It's not your brain's fault. It's just dopamine working the way it's designed to. But there's one thing dopamine can't control: your ability to notice this. Your ability to look at your own habits. Your ability to choose a moment of silence. And sometimes, just a moment like that is enough to break the loop. You're not a slave to dopamine. You just haven't seen the door out of the loop.
When attention breaks its chains, your phone will vibrate again. New content will appear. Dopamine will call you with a familiar whisper, but you can hear it with another ear. Not as a command, but as a distant echo, the sign of a loop you already know by name. The people in the experiment never realized they were addicted to dopamine until they saw themselves from the outside. And you just did just that. You stood up from the spiral, even if only for a second. And that was enough to break the first spell. What do you feel right now? A little emptiness? A little light? A little realization that not every feeling that calls to you is real? If you feel it, it means you're still alive. You're still choosing. There's still a part of your brain that hasn't been taken over by dopamine. Watch this video again. Not to feed your dopamine, but to feed your consciousness. And if you know someone who's stuck in the loop, send them this video. Not as content, but as a reminder. If you still feel something,
you are still yourself.